Canelo Alvarez has responded to Terence Crawford's latest training footage. Crawford is ramping up his workouts for a possible showdown with Canelo. His routine mixes strength-building exercises like weightlifting and resistance training to boost power and endurance. On top of that, Crawford is sharpening his punching skills with mitt work and heavy bag sessions to improve his speed and accuracy.
Terence Crawford is a great fighter, he's a good fighter, but like I say, he's weight classes for a reason.
No, it's business, it's the office. I enjoy it because this is what I love to do.
Now, skill-wise, I think Crawford's a better skilled fighter.
I understand, Canelo's bigger than me and whatnot, but I'm up for the challenge.
Canelo.
Arab Sheikh Turki Al Sheikh, a passionate boxing enthusiast, has vowed to organize several world-class fights by 2025. One of the most eagerly awaited matchups could be the long-anticipated clash between Saul Canelo Alvarez and Terence Crawford, tentatively scheduled for September. According to Boxing News Online, the two fighters met privately in London last week, away from Al Sheikh's radar, and reportedly began working out the terms for their highly anticipated fight. ESPN reported the fight is being planned for Mexico's Independence Day weekend in mid-September. Boxing expert Mike Kopp-Pinger stated, "From what I hear, they're close to finalizing a deal for a September fight during Mexican Independence Day weekend, and it'll be in Las Vegas with a 168-pound weight limit and no rehydration clause. However, a key challenge remains. Crawford would need to gain 14 pounds to compete in Canelo's weight category. Over the years, Canelo has steadily moved up through divisions, starting at super welterweight, where he won the WBC world title, and later becoming the unified middleweight champion at 160 pounds. He even briefly moved to light heavyweight, defeating Sergey Kovalev for the IBF title before returning to super middleweight, where he became the first undisputed four-belt champion. Unlike Canelo, whose fights rarely go to decision, a trend, since 2016, Crawford would have to jump 2 weight classes to face him. Canelo has been cautious about the idea, stressing the importance of weight classes in boxing. He said, "There are weight classes for a reason," implying that Crawford's best performance comes at 147 pounds. This comment follows Crawford's recent success at 154 pounds, where he claimed a world title by defeating Israel Masdar. Still, Canelo believes moving up to 168 pounds would be a massive challenge for Crawford, potentially putting him at a disadvantage, due to differences in size and power. Canelo's stance highlights a key principle in boxing. Weight divisions exist to ensure fair, competitive fights while protecting the safety of athletes.
So you can't look forward past Saturday, but do you feel like a fight like Terence Crawford? I see he wants to fight, he's made it clear. Do fights like that help your legacy, or do you feel like that's something that's not worth it to you?
Everything in my career, every fight make my legacy different and better, no? Terence Crawford is a great fighter, he's a good fighter, but like I say, he's weight classes for a reason. I'm focused 100% on Berlanga, and then you never know what happened.
Yeah, for sure.
Canelo calls out Crawford's padded record, claiming he hasn't faced top-tier competition. Crawford's entire 17-year career lacks elite-level or A-class opponents, Canelo told TMZ Sports. His best win was against a drained and damaged version of Spence, who wasn't the same after his car crash. Other than Spence, no one on Crawford's record stands out to justify the hype he gets. He's talented, but he's the product of clever matchmaking in today's era, Canelo said. He's really just won one big fight. Look at his record. He's only beaten one good fighter, and that's it. Canelo doubled down on the criticism, pointing out that Errol Spence wasn't at his peak when Crawford beat him. Spence had been in a horrific 100 mph car crash in 2019 that left him far from his best. Crawford's resume lacks quality fighters, Canelo added. In his 17-year career, he's been the favorite in every fight. And it's not because there weren't opponents that could have been a 50-50 matchup.
Are you tired of people asking you about Terence yet?
No, look, I always say, I respect Terence Crawford. He's a very talented fighter, but he just win one big fight. If you see his record, he just beat one good fighter like Errol Spence is.
Yes.
But other than that, I don't think he's beating other great fighter like Spence. He did a really good job with the Spence. He did like almost look very easy. But I knew Terence Crawford is a great fighter. But you never know in boxing. We'll see.
Canelo recently shared his thoughts on Terence Crawford's career, which led Crawford to respond on X, saying, "LOL, that's crazy. So every fighter I've faced is no good except one? Just remember what you said because I've always enjoyed making people look like nobodies." Critics of Crawford argue that his career has been carefully managed, with him facing mainly B-level opponents to keep his record spotless, while avoiding top-tier fighters like Jaron Ennis, Bakram Murtazaliev, and Virgil Ortiz Jr. Some also feel that Crawford should step up to 168 lbs to face names like David Benavidez or David Morrell to prove he's worthy of fighting Canelo. Crawford, however, remains confident in his achievements, brushing off claims that his record is padded and continuing to assert his dominance in the sport. Canelo has acknowledged the widespread demand among fighters to face him, saying, "Everyone wants to fight me, so it's fine. If a fight makes sense, then why not?" Initially, Canelo hesitated to fight Crawford, citing concerns about not receiving credit for beating a smaller opponent. However, his perspective has changed. He recently met with boxing powerhouse Turki Al-Shak in London to discuss the possibility of a fight with Crawford. If the fight happens, Crawford would need to move up to super middleweight, a big leap that some experts think could be too much for him. Two-weight world champion Teofimo Lopez, who has trained with Canelo under coach Eddie Reynoso, is among those who doubt Crawford can handle the jump in weight. Despite these challenges, the potential matchup has sparked significant excitement among fans and analysts alike.
It's disrespectful for Crawford to call you out at 68, say that he can beat you at this weight?
No, everybody wants to fight with me, so it's fine.
That being a biggest fight possible in boxing, is that something you'd actually be interested in?
It's crazy when you asking about that because you say, your matchup is coming out of the other weight classes and and he's welterweight, so don't make sense. But if the fight made sense, why not?
A lot of people have him at number one pound for pound. You think that's fair to you?
It's a few people there who deserve be the number one pound for pound, and it's fine.
Canelo has shown confidence about a potential fight with Terence Crawford, saying, "Easy money. If the money is right, I'm in." He added, "I don't like fighting guys like Crawford because he moves a lot, and the fight gets boring." This reflects Canelo's belief that Crawford's movement-heavy style doesn't match his preferred kind of fight. Despite this, discussions about a clash between the two champions have advanced, with reports suggesting they've reached an agreement for a fight in Las Vegas in September 2025. This potential showdown has generated massive buzz in the boxing world. Recently, Canelo spoke about future matchups, including a possible bout with undefeated champion Terence Crawford following his win over Edgar Berlanga. Canelo noted that anything is possible, but stressed the need for favorable terms for such a high-stakes fight. In a new development, reports have emerged that Canelo and Crawford have held promising talks with Saudi boxing chief Turki Al-Shak to organize a major fight in 2025. Both fighters have reportedly agreed to a September bout in Las Vegas. While these updates point to an exciting mega fight on the horizon, Canelo remains focused on his current commitments. He has expressed a willingness to consider the Crawford matchup, but only after fulfilling his ongoing obligations.
Always is a chance there, right? We'll see, but always is a chance there, and we're here to make the best deals, and always a chance.
And I do have to ask you about Dimitri Bivol, because that's a rematch you've always talked about wanting. How do you see the rematch going with Bivol and Beterbiev?
I think it's gonna be another good fight. It's gonna be another good fight. Both fighters are good fighters, so I think both have a chance to win. Like the first one was a really good fight.
So whatever is next, we look forward to it, my friend. Thank you so much and have a great evening.
Canelo is set to play a major role in the Riyadh series following talks about a potential mega fight with Terence Crawford. This high-profile event, hosted in Saudi Arabia, aims to showcase top-tier boxing talent, with both fighters reportedly agreeing to a bout in September 2025. The Riyadh series will feature the much-anticipated showdown, as Sheikh Turki Al Sheikh has been eager to bring blockbuster events to Saudi Arabia. To make it happen, he's offering over $200 million to bring Canelo to Riyadh. In an interview at the opening of El Pastor del Rey in San Diego, Canelo said, "I never say no to business," and expressed openness to negotiations if the deal is right. He revealed that 80% of his fight profits, including ticket sales, go directly to him, highlighting his business-savvy approach. Canelo added that he willingly takes risks in his career, knowing they come with the chance to earn substantial rewards.
Saul, my carnal, how are you? Quick question. I know, as we walk, Canelo, how important is it that you've spoke with Turki Al Sheikh?
Say again, please.
How important for you is it that you've spoke to Turki Al Sheikh, and what did you speak about?
Look, I like to work with everybody. You know, I'm a free agent, and I like to work with everybody. And you know, I like to have the doors open.
Are we going to see Canelo Crawford next?
We'll see. It's a possibility there always. No, we'll see what happens.
Have you spoke with Turki about that show?
Yeah,
about Canelo?
We know each other. We don't talk that much for make a deal and anything, but you know, we now know each other, and we'll see what happens.
Last one, I know you're pushed for time. Benavidez Morel, who wins?
It's gonna be a good fight. It's gonna be a good fight. 50-50 fight.
Canelo, thank you for that.
In a recent interview, Mikey Garcia shared his thoughts on a hypothetical fight between Canelo and Terence Crawford. Garcia praised Crawford as one of the most skilled fighters he has ever seen and recalled a conversation where he acknowledged Crawford's accomplishments. He pointed out that Crawford often doesn't get the recognition he deserves due to boxing politics and favoritism. Despite Crawford's impressive skills, Garcia emphasized the significant size difference between the two. He noted that Canelo competes at 168 lbs, while Crawford only recently moved up to 154 lbs and faced challenges at that weight. Garcia expressed doubt that Canelo would drop below 166 lbs, making size and power a clear advantage for Canelo, even though Crawford is technically more skilled. Ultimately, Garcia said he's not in favor of the matchup, as Crawford has already cemented his greatness across multiple weight classes. Dan Rafael, a seasoned boxing analyst, also weighed in on the potential fight. He noted that Canelo is a sharp businessman and would be drawn to the massive financial rewards such a fight could offer. Rafael suggested that this matchup could become one of the most significant in boxing history, generating massive attention and revenue. He added that both fighters are at the peak of their careers, making this potential bout one of the most highly anticipated events in the boxing world.
In May, I've read somewhere that Canelo has shortlisted Crawford for the May fight, his fight in May. Dan, what's happening?
Yeah, listen, I think it's just a fluid situation. I don't think there's anything definitive one way or the other at this point. I mean, it's not a secret that that's a fight that's been discussed by a lot of us and by a lot of people in the sport for quite a while. Certainly, it's a fight that Turki Al Sheikh from Saudi Arabia has shown a lot of interest in. And of course, if it's going to get made, someone's going to have to put up a lot of guaranteed money. And he's probably the person that's going to do it. He's obviously been working closely with Terence Crawford. He was involved with Terence Crawford's last fight that took place in August when he fought Israel Madrimov. It's obviously a fight that Terence Crawford has been very vocal about wanting. Now, Canelo hasn't ever said he wanted the fight, kind of downplayed it to a certain degree. But it wasn't that long ago. I don't know, maybe a couple of months ago, he was doing an appearance and he was asked about it and he didn't close the door on it. In the past, he sort of like closed the door on it and was like, I'm not interested. He's like, listen, I'll talk to anybody and listen to what they have to say about the deal, any kind of deal. So in my mind, that sort of at least cracked open the door to have the conversation. Like he wasn't just saying, forget it in terms of working with Turki or anybody else. So I think that Canelo is a smart person in terms of his boxing, but also in terms of his business. And when he looks around at the landscape and he wants to make a huge amount of money, like all top fighters or any fighter for that matter. And he looks and sees, who can I fight where I can make the biggest score, in a big time fight.
Ryan Garcia has voiced strong confidence in a potential fight between Canelo and Terence Crawford, predicting that Canelo's size and strength would give him the edge. Garcia's view aligns with recent reports suggesting that negotiations for the fight are almost finalized, with a target date set for September 2025 in Las Vegas. The bout is expected to take place at 168 lbs, with Crawford moving up 2 weight classes to challenge Canelo for his unified super middleweight titles. This fight is expected to be a massive commercial event, drawing worldwide attention from boxing fans. Terence Crawford has also shared his excitement about the potential matchup, calling it the biggest fight in boxing. He has long wanted this fight, understanding its huge appeal to fans across the globe. While Crawford acknowledges Canelo's size advantage, saying, "Canelo is bigger than me," he remains confident in his skills and ready to take on the challenge. Reports indicate that the fight is nearing finalization, with September 2025 in Las Vegas as the target date. This highly anticipated bout is set to capture the attention of boxing enthusiasts around the world.
Guys, we know the fighters know the intel before the news gets released to the public. King Ryan was asked about Canelo Crawford. He not only says he can't believe they got that fight done, meaning that that's a done deal. We obviously knew that, but he also gives you who he thinks wins that fight, Canelo or Crawford. Do you agree with Ryan Garcia?
Fight. What about Canelo and Crawford? What do you think?
That's gonna be a great fight too. I can't believe they made that happen. Turkey's been making a lot of great fights happen. You can't really hate on it. But I'm excited for that. I know Canelo, he's so big, so strong, and I think he'll be just too big. I mean, weight classes matter for a reason. Last question, Ali.
Stephen A. Smith shared his thoughts on a potential showdown between Canelo and Terence Crawford, emphasizing how intriguing the fight would be. At first, he leaned toward Crawford, praising his exceptional skills as a pure boxer and his ability to outclass opponents in the ring. However, Smith questioned whether Crawford could hurt Canelo, a physically dominant fighter with immense power. Smith pointed out how Canelo's relentless pressure and powerful shots can overwhelm opponents who lack the strength to keep him at bay. While he acknowledged Crawford's technical superiority, Smith expressed doubts about Crawford's ability to withstand or avoid Canelo's power over the course of the fight. Ultimately, he found the matchup fascinating, as it would test Crawford's skill and strategy against the sheer dominance of Canelo like never before.
He'll fight Crawford in May. What would you think of that matchup, Canelo and Crawford?
You know what? I think my initial reaction would be to say that I think that Crawford would be the superior boxer, as great as Canelo is, as seasoned as he is, with 65 fights, if I recall, on his record. He's phenomenal. But Crawford is something special. I think that he's a better pure boxer. I think boxing-wise, he's going to give Canelo fits. My concern is that he won't hurt Canelo. And if he doesn't hurt Canelo and can't hurt Canelo, then Canelo keeps coming. Similar to how he stalked Charlo, how he stalked, once he had Plant hurt, he chased after him. Canelo is a very powerful individual who can get exposed by a boxer because every shot he throws, he's trying to make it a power shot. But to me, can Crawford hurt him? I would pick Crawford to win if he can box and stay away. I don't believe he can hurt Canelo. And if Canelo catches him, it could be trouble. But I would still say it would be a very interesting fight. I just believe that Crawford hasn't been in the ring with anybody this powerful. And I'm wondering whether he could stay away. Again, Crawford is the superior boxer.
Crawford's fight with Julius Ndongo showed that things might not be as easy or punishing as some expect. Early on, Crawford faced challenges but ultimately showcased his true strength as a fighter. His willingness to fight and his drive to win are key factors in his success. Crawford's determination and ability to rise to the occasion in tight situations demonstrate his championship mindset. However, the biggest concern with the potential fight against Canelo remains the weight difference. While some may speculate about personal feelings or spin the narrative, the weight disparity is a significant factor that cannot be ignored.
let's be honest. When Crawford fought Madrimov, he had his hands full, especially early in the fight. Now, I give props to Crawford because Crawford is the type of fighter where he does have like a chip on his shoulder and a willingness to win. He has drive, and if you tell him step it up, the rounds are too close, you're going to get a dedicated Crawford. So he is a true fighter, a true champion, all that. The biggest gripe I have with the fight is the weight. You guys could try to spin it and say I hate this guy or that guy. I don't really care. What do I look like being a true alpha and being bothered by what people say? I don't care. I'm telling you my opinion, and my opinion is not going to change because I know you guys can't change it. I've said the same thing, and not one time have I heard one of the Bud Buddies offer a solution to the arguments that I've brought up. Crawford is good, but so is Canelo. If they were naturally the same size, which they're not, Crawford is probably maybe a little bit taller, but I'm talking about mass.
That's all for today's video. Stay tuned, and we'll catch you next time.